Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
I have so many things going on in this car business. You're just not going to believe it. I just told you about the wires getting stolen from the Chargers. Well, here's another good one. Faulty airbags could plague millions of vehicles on the U.S. roads. What is the story with this now? I thought we had this whole airbag thing behind us, Charles. This is crazy. Drivers of used vehicles involved in crashes are at risk of severe injuries or death due to defective airbags, the NHT is warning. They're looking into this. Owners should check their vehicle's history. Get the Carfax. This is important. The NHTSA urged used car buyers in a July 10th statement to be aware of these defective airbags. After accidents, vehicles could be fitted with foreign airbags made by companies with little or no reputation of quality manufacturing, or experience, and sold at prices far below the cost of genuine equipment, the company said, or the NHTSA said. These airbags are ordered online and installed at reputable repair shops or manufacturer dealers. The 2 million vehicles involved in an accident with the airbag deployment in the past 2 years represent an opportunity for a scammer to install a counterfeit airbag as a replacement. Well, I got to tell you, since May of 2023, 3 people have been killed and 2 have suffered life-altering injuries due to faulty aftermarket replacement airbag inflators, according to the NHTSA. The airbag inflators is what Takata had, the problem Takata had. When it goes off, it goes off like a grenade in the cockpit of the car. I mean, it's a grenade. And there's shrapnel flying everywhere. People are dying. And now it's back to haunt us. You got somebody making crappy airbags and selling them underneath the market. That CDK cyber attack that Chuck was watching pretty close, updated by an AEG study, says that dealerships lost $1.02 billion with a B in business. Anderson Economic Group estimated dealerships lost 56,200 new vehicle sales, 56,000 car sales. How do you stay in business? New vehicle sales and $1.02 billion between June 19th and July 15th because the CDK global cyber attacks and subsequent software outages. Beautiful.
We actually have another, I'll add this other piece to this. There's a second story here. It said they ended up paying a $25 million ransom in order to resolve this.
Oh yeah, I think I got that somewhere here. Yeah, they just, it's terrible. It's just terrible. The consulting firm, which also conducted loss analysis for 23 and 2019 UAW strikes, had projected July 1st dealerships would lose $934 million between June 19th and July 6th. Unbelievable. The same day, AutoNation estimated the CDK situation had stripped $1.50 out of its second quarter earnings per share. Oh boy, CDK suffered at least 2 cyber attacks June 19th in what it called a cyber ransom event. It took its software online as a precaution, forcing dealerships to find alternative ways to do business. By July 2nd, CDK announced substantially all dealer connections to the DMS had been restored as of that morning. That's July 2nd. I don't think that's right. I think that was July 6th. But let's put it this way. They lost how much in sales? $1 billion. I mean, it's crazy. Or $944 million. That's what they lost. My God. Can you imagine one hacker with a computer at home can get in there, is smart enough to get in there and just booger that all up and hold them for ransom.
Mm-hmm. And now he's $25 million richer.
Now yeah, because they just paid it and said goodbye. China is fighting back. The U.S., they're all over the place. They want the World Trade Organization panel to settle the dispute over U.S. electric vehicle subsidies. There's been a problem there, and I know it. China has requested the U.S. World Trade Organization set up an expert panel to help settle a dispute over electric vehicle subsidies under the U.S. Inflation Reduction Act, the country's Commerce Ministry said on Monday. China has failed to reach a solution with the U.S. through consultations that would safeguard the rights and interests of its EV industry. The ministry said in a statement, and so is advancing its case to the World Trade Organization. The IRA excludes products from WTO members such as China, artificially sets trade barriers, and pushes up the cost of green energy transition. You know what? China is dying to get that $10,000 car in here, Chuck. They want to just put everybody out of business. And it's just not going to work. I mean, well, first of all, I don't know that anybody's going to buy an electric vehicle anymore, even if it is 10 grand. It's really taking a bath here. Here, Mary Barra, the queen of General Motors, they originally set a goal of having production capabilities in place for 1 million electric vehicles, but said it could only sell that many if the market materializes. In other words, she's saying the market has not come about yet. They have nowhere to look to sell. I mean, they're not waiting for anything. They're waiting for the market. They're not waiting for one incident. Barra told CNBC at the event Monday that GM won't have production capacity in place to build 1 million electric vehicles at the end of next year, which was the previous target. That's what they said. The CEO said customer demand will dictate how fast the company can get to the 1 million mark for annual EV sales, and that currently it's seeing a slowdown in deliveries of them. No. These comments echoed remarks Barra made in December when she said that meeting of target for all electric vehicles by 2035 will depend on consumer acceptance. She's right. Slowing growth could be painful for GM, which just recently overcame electric battery production problems, and they did, and has already delayed the opening of an electric pickup truck plant in suburban Detroit, shutting it down. We won't get to 1 million just because the market's not developing, but it will get there, Mary Barra said. I'm telling you, Chuck, I'm having a little problem here with the electric vehicles. I every day I get a little more skeptical about fully electric vehicles. I don't know that it's going to happen. I just don't. Fisker, oh my God, these guys. Fisker, go jump in a lake, will you, Heinrich? Fisker sells their remaining electric vehicles for a fraction of the $70,000 price tag they once had. Fisker won bankruptcy court permission to sell its remaining fleet of electric crossovers, SUVs, after slashing the price on glitchy vehicles. Let me just tell you, they're not glitchy, they're junk. Okay. Judge Brendan L. Shannon said at a hearing in Delaware Tuesday he'd approve selling roughly 3,300 Fisker vehicles, that's all they had made, for as much as $46.25 million to American Lease LLC, a company that leases cars, crossovers, and SUVs to New York City-based Uber and Lyft drivers. Fisker vehicles in reasonably good working order could be sold to American Lease for $16,500. That's a little bit down from the $70,000 price tag they had, while damaged vehicles requiring at least $5,000 in repair could fetch as little as $2,500. The price represents a steep discount at a time when other buyers are still having problems getting their vehicles serviced and have already taken big losses. You bought a Fisker, there's no place to get it fixed, and they're not making them anymore, and now they're selling them for, if they're in good shape, they're selling them for $16,500. You paid $70,000 for that car. This guy has stuck it to the car business. How many years? When electric vehicles first came out, Fisker had a dream vehicle. I don't know who was making that one. They still don't have a plant. Fisker's never had a physical plant to make their own cars. They just don't. These were made, I don't know, Sweden or wherever I said, somewhere over there. Somebody, Sweden? Yeah, it was Sweden. They're making the cars for Fisker. And he's got, the first time around, he got a $2 billion grant from the Department of Energy under Obama. And he went belly up and sold the company to a company in China who used it for a little while, then bankrupted it, cut it apart, and just started, using up the assets. So who knows what he sold it for? He probably didn't get much for it. Now he's got more money, but this time he's got the same kind of money that everybody else was getting from the government, which wasn't at that time a whole lot when he was starting out. But he had a lot of private investors. He had a lot of people with big dough in this thing. Big dough. And it's gone. It's going bankrupt too. 3,300 vehicles. Ford makes that in a week. That might even be a half a week. I don't know. But this guy had 3,300 vehicles made in the last 2 years because he had no orders. Nobody wanted them. The people that did buy them, now they're stuck. First of all, Chuck, what can you do with a car that you can't get parts for? There are no parts outlets. There's no service outlets. There's not even instructions on how to fix them. There's nothing out there.
I think you plug them into a charger and hope for an insurance claim at that point.
Hope for an insurance claim because that car's junk. That car's had it. And I don't want to see Lucid go that way, but they're having more and more problems at Lucid. But they have a couple big backers. Where Heinrich, he didn't have big backers. He had a whole bunch of, he stuck it to a whole bunch of people when he filed bankruptcy. Not just a couple of big investors. A bunch of investors. Well, this is encouraging because I do want one of these. I really do. Tesla's Cybertruck has beaten the F-150 Lightning as the top electric pickup in the latest registration data. The Cybertruck's number was strong enough to propel it to number 5 among all electric vehicles in May.
Yeah, they've upped their deliveries. I follow them on Facebook, and they're just cranking them out.
Yeah, they are. They're
and remember, one of the things the important thing to remember is the method at which they do this is that all of these people that are getting their Cybertrucks today, they put down a deposit years ago.
Oh yeah. And
I mean, it's crazy how imagine a scenario where you put down a deposit years ago, you get an email that says, "Hey, can you wire us $100,000 in about 2 days? And if you can, go to Chicago, go wherever, pick up your car."
Pick up your car. Yeah, they had it actually stipulated in the sales contract that you could not resell it.
And you cannot resell it. And some people, it's interesting because I'm seeing a lot of people that are selling their cars for whatever reason. I'm kind of wondering if anything's going to happen to them. I'm seeing a lot of these hitting the market.
Well, it's an investment, and people want them, and they can't get them, so you can sell to them. But I hope this Cybertruck is around for a long time because I'd like to have one. I think they're just ugly enough that I fit. It belongs to me. It really does. Because Tesla didn't break out U.S. sales from global numbers, registration data serves as a proxy. It's not a big deal. The Cybertruck, starting at just over $100,000, with shipping, had 3,907 registrations in May. S&P Global Mobility said. There's 3,900 in 1 month registration, where Fisker made 3,300 cars since they began. God. The pickup launched November 30th with a current limited run Foundation Series version. Ford's electric pickup, which launched in the spring of 22, had 2,353 registrations in May, according to S&P Global Mobility. The Rivian R1T pickup, and I think that's a pretty good-looking truck,
right,
in late 2021 was in third place with 1,237 registrations, the data showed. Now, the F-150 Lightning starts at $57,900 with shipping for the commercial Pro model and $65,090 for the retail XLT, the real fancy one. The R1T of Rivian starts at $71,700 with shipping. I'm glad to see Elon doing well with the Cybertruck, and I'd like to have one.
No, so he's been working through the issues. So we had an issue with the wheel covers. That's been addressed. We had an issue with the acceleration, the pedal, I think it was.
Yeah, it was the pedal.
There's still an issue where there are some panels. The rear panel likes to come off at highway speed, so that's a problem they're working through. But there's people that were claiming the windshields were cracking. But again, it's you're buying the first, one of several thousand cars.
My dad always said, "Don't buy a first-year car."
Right, and
Never.
so I mean, again, based on where we are this first year, and again, I think Elon's a good enough guy that's going to take care of a lot of these issues. That I think you're going to see that in a year or two, you're going to see that this. A lot of people now are making jokes now about how they look like dumpsters and things like that. It's like, that's fine. But again, people that have driven them have said this is the smoothest ride I've ever been on. This is like the best ride. This is the smoothest. Like, you think SUV or truck, you think a little bit rougher than a luxury car, but this is it's a good ride. So a lot of people enjoy driving.
For a small pickup.
I'm seeing pictures of guys putting bags of cement in the back, using it imagine spending $100,000 for a work truck, though. I don't know I'd take it to the job
I'm not
site.
wild about that, no.
But again, they're just showing. Guys that are towing boats and trailers and things are showing it's a truck.
I'm sure you could order a bed liner with it.
Well, I hope so.
That would bother me.
Well, he actually just announced that he's actually putting in. They're adding a feature to the tailgate, and they're calling it like the tailgate party thing. So it's basically like a rubber liner, like you said, for the tailgate. And so again, it's Elon's the kind of guy you can just tweet him and go, "Hey, Elon, I need this for the bed," and they start thinking about it.
I'm waiting for somebody to build a bar in one of those tailgates.
Well, I'm still thinking. Remember, what was it? Who used to put the hot tubs in the back? Was it El Camino or something like that?
Yeah, it was an El Camino. Yes.
Yeah, we'll put a hot tub back there.
Oh, you can't beat it. Well, sooner or later I'll have a Cybertruck and I'll take you all for a ride.